Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today's guest is someone who has real world experiences on love, commitment, and relationships. After more than 5 decades with her beloved partner, Belle witnessed the beauty of love and also what happens when relationships fall apart. So she turned her loss into helping others. She has written a book called Our Relationships for Suckers, and she has reached millions through her writing. So I'm excited to hear her insights on love, commitment, and relationships. So, Belle, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure, Curtis.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 75 now, and I decided 7 years ago that there was so much disconnection and heartbreak and unnecessary pain that people were hurting themselves with divorce, the divorce rate rising, because people don't understand how love really works, romantic love, and probably all kinds of love, actually. And they needed help. So I said, my husband and I, we figured it out. It took us a while. We did it wrong too. We jumped in. We got married 4 months after we met. We jumped right in and we made all the mistakes basically that people make, but we figured it out. So I said, I've got to share that. So I didn't quite know how to write it, and I wrote for 7 years on Quora, answering questions. So that helped me a lot. And, after 6 months, it's all the same questions pretty much. People have the same problems, the same issues pretty much, except for a few sexual strange things. But otherwise, it was quite an adventure. And I just decided when I was getting creeping up on 75, if I don't do it now, I better get that book out. So that's where I am right now.
What do you feel like is the biggest misconception people have about relationships today?
I think people are brainwashed by the idea of true love and the one, which is a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. That they don't understand what romantic love is really all about. They don't just understand that there are two stages to it, and that the fabulous, exciting emotional spark and electricity that you get during that first period must die. Research says 6 months to 2 years in. And after that, they don't understand that but during that time, enduring love does begin to form. You have your experiences together, your memories, your good times and your bad times that you share. So people don't understand that. A lot of people go out seeking the high of that honeymoon stage, as we call it. And they don't understand that, and they don't understand enduring love. And the worst part of it really is, Curtis, that they don't understand how much work it is to nurture love for a lifetime, to be happy with each other, to create more joy every day.
Well, let's talk about your book, Relationships for Suckers. Talk about what readers can expect when they read it, where they can get it, and what's the message that you're so passionate to share in this book.
Thank you, Curtis. Yes. Uh, the book is available on Amazon in ebook and hard and soft cover. It's also I myself just finished the audio versions, and that's going to be out in a couple of weeks in case people don't read. I know a lot of people don't read anymore. My it's a guidebook. It's informational, but it's also full of a lot of my feelings, caring about wanting other people to understand that if we could do it, they can do it too.
Well, from your perspective, why are so many relationships struggling or failing in today's world?
That's a good question. I think there are several things that people let get in the way. The first of that is ego. The second of that is blame. And the third of that is defensiveness. I think the biggest problem is that people don't know how to communicate on a deep spiritual level with each other. They don't know how to connect that way. They're not willing to put the ego, the blame, the defensiveness aside and really, as the Bible said, cleave unto one another as one flesh when you marry or when you have a long-term relationship of some kind.
What are the core habits or practices that has kept your relationship strong for so long?
Well, we were lucky, first of all, to meet at all, but you have to start out on solid ground. You can't, a relationship, no matter how strong the foundation is, doesn't work on quicksand. So you start on solid ground. Solid ground means you have to have a lot of basic compatibilities, your interests, your goals, your spirituality, somewhat you can do it without those, but it makes it much harder. Similar backgrounds, similar age, similar interests, certainly, and all of that. But the basic foundation is fourfold: communication, focus, devotion, and flexibility. Communication, as I was saying, is it's the cornerstone of every successful, fulfilling relationship. It's reaching each other on a soul-to-soul level. Focus is prioritizing each other above everyone and everything else, except when you have children, when you both prioritize them together. Devotion is a deeper spiritual level of commitment, and flexibility is a life skill that means when things don't go as planned, you can change direction quickly. And all of those things require a lot of hard work, time, and energy. But they are things that you can learn, and it's worth it to get to a really great relationship.
Where you've seen long term love as well as widespread heartbreak. So, talk about one consistent pattern that you see in failing relationships or unhealthy relationships.
I think that there's too much availability today of entertainment and distractions. People do not spend enough time concentrating just on each other. I think that people, when that happens, you lose communication, or your communication diverges, or you it gets clogged, and when that happens, you kind of drift apart, and then you lose intimacy. And then people start looking for their validation elsewhere.
We'll talk about how your understanding of love has evolved now versus when you were younger.
Well, when I was young, when we first met, we actually, he was my first love and I was his first real love. So, um, but we had all the electricity and the excitement and all that, and it was interesting because 5 months we married after 4 months after we knew each other 4 months, and then after 5 months, one morning I woke up and suddenly I felt like I was sleeping next to my brother. And I wasn't prepared for that. I had no idea how it worked. But, I just moved closer to him. We spooned and made love, and we just kept going. But a lot of people don't know how to do that. And I had no idea that there were two stages to romantic love and how it worked. So, but it just came naturally. We were very lucky because it just kind of came, it just flowed naturally for us.
Well, a lot of people are searching for compatibility. So, how important is compatibility versus commitment and effort?
Well, that's what I was saying. That was what I said earlier, which is that there's the ground that you put the foundation on, and then there's the foundation, and the foundation, the ground that you put it on involves that basic compatibilities, a lot of basic compatibilities. The more compatibilities you share, the easier it is to connect and stay connected.
Well, we know that communication plays a huge role in relationships. So, talk about what role you believe it plays and what people get wrong about it.
Like I said before, actually, the communication, yes, communication is the cornerstone. And when you have that, you have a big portion of what you need. The role it plays is that you I mean, you speak to people all the time. You have other relationships, friendships and things like that. But when you live with someone 24/7, you really need to put in all the time and effort and energy to really connect on a deeper level. When you do that, eventually what you do is you become soulmates and you can finish each other's sentences. You know what they're thinking. You're more considerate of their feelings and they're more considerate of yours. There's a deeper level of interaction and caring when you get your communication right and deep enough.
With millions of people engaging with your content online, what's one piece of advice that you have put out there that seems to resonate most with your readers?
That's very hard to say. I've answered like 27,000 questions about love, marriage, relationships, life, gardening, and cats. It's hard to say what resonates the most. I try to be caring when I answer people's questions. I try to be kind. I try to make it like I often end it by saying, I wish you mazel and harmony or mazel and enlightenment on your journey, Babala, because I feel like I am making some level of contact with them. And I don't want to just to answer. It's not like I'm a school teacher. I'm a grandma. I'm a bubby. A Jewish. Bubby is a Jewish grandmother. So I like to think that when I connect with people and when they want to follow me and when they want to read my content every day, because I write more every day, that they're seeing me as a bubby, as a grandmother, as someone who is older and wiser, been there, done that, and has advice to give them at an honest level. Sometimes I'm a little blunt, but usually I'm just kind. So sometimes I will be blunt and kind in the same answer because I like to. Sometimes people need a kick in the tuchus. You know what a tuchus is? A tush, a butt.
Well, for someone out there who might be listening right now and they feel stuck or discouraged in their relationship, what is the first step you recommend they take?
Okay, the first step, if you're already in a relationship, the first step is, I believe, take a weekend away. Put your computer and your cell phone in a drawer and and turn off the television and connect with each other. Speak to each other, touch each other physically and emotionally. If you can, go to a couples retreat. People don't connect enough. There are too many distractions. So I really believe that if you can really and listen harder by all means when you're not exactly sure what someone has just said to you, ask. Don't assume. People assume things like and you can be off on the completely wrong path. So I think that the most important thing is that people don't connect enough one on one. There's so much stimulation going on in our lives. There's so much to do, so many choices, so many responsibilities that we have, and it grows all the time. There's just more and more and more. But you need to deepen your relationship with each other. And when you do that, you will be rewarded, I promise you.
Tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on that listeners need to be aware of.
Oh, I'm doing some speaking. I'm going to speak at Columbia University on the 26th of this month, and I am working on a second book, which is really just going to be pretty much a compendium of questions and answers because I have so many that I did include like a 30 answers, questions and answers is the last chapter of my book, but I'd like to give people more. And of course, I'd love to go on the morning shows and spread my word around the world. That's my hope.
Well, so people can keep up with everything that you're up to, throw out your contact info.
I have my website is ourrelationshipsforsuckers.com, and I'm always on Quora. So if you have questions or you want to look at my prior content, it's always available on Quora, and that's free. And the proceeds of my book are going to charity because my husband and I have done well enough in our lives not to need that extra money. And I don't want to coach because although I'd love to coach, I my life is already too busy. We do a lot of charity work. We have our granddaughter. I have my garden and my cats, and it's just too much. So that's basically where we're at.
We'll close this out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to talk about that you would like to touch on, or any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
Yes, I do. Um, I really feel so strongly that people deserve to be happy. Everyone deserves to be happy. And people aren't so happy today. There's so much wrong with the world. There's so much going on with the world. People deserve to be happy and certainly happier than they are. And they deserve to be able, if you're single and you're happy being single, that's great. You need to develop yourself as an individual and never give that up. But if you want to connect with someone special, if you want to share your life with someone, you can do it, but be careful. Don't trust too easily and use your words and listen hard.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our relationshipsforsuckers.com. Share that website to everybody you know. Pick up Belle's book and follow, rate, and review. Share this episode to everybody that you know. Also, visit www.curveball337.com to keep up with all things living the dream. And if you haven't done so, please go sign up for the newsletter. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. And Belle, thank you for all that you do, trying to help people be successful in their relationships. And thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you, Curtis, for having me.
For more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Until next time, keep living the dream.